You're listening to Ignite Your Success, a podcast that inspires fitness professionals to build a strong business that enables them to serve more people and engineer the lifestyle they desire. It's Brad Shepherd here, and together with Jason Ubanowicz, we're best known for running Trainer HQ, a community of passionate and profit-hungry fitness business owners that make a massive difference in others' lives every day. Each episode will unpack for you exactly what's working and deliver best practice strategies so you can confidently grow your business and make a huge impact. Hello and welcome to another edition of Ignite Your Success podcast. And today I'm joined down on the Gold Coast by my amazing business partner, Mr. Jason Ubanowicz.
Oh, stop it.
The crowd goes wild every time it
Thank
happens
you.
for you.
Great to be here.
Mate, been a bit of talk about the coronavirus.
It's interesting times, isn't it?
Yes, interesting times. And especially you got some sound effects, haven't you, lined up?
I do. And that was where I'm at.
But anyway, mate, interesting times.
And, of course, in any challenging time that comes out, there's also opportunities, and there's also what we talk a lot about is, how do you rise up? So you either got people that will rise up to it or they'll fall to it. And, again, we've spent the last 3 days down here on the Gold Coast with a group of our high-level clients exploring a few different areas at this point of time. So before the whole Corona thing hit, the workshop was a millionaire's mindset. It didn't really change what we were doing, but it did change some of our focus and exploring a few key elements. And when any type of crisis or anything that goes, I guess, pear-shaped in life, there's a couple of two essential parts as I see it. Number one is how you emotionally deal with it. So the emotional response that you have to a situation. So point being is that I've often been talking about in business and life in general, the more emotional intelligence you have, the better you work on it. Being calm under pressure when it counts the most. That's when you truly get the best out of yourself. Doesn't matter if it's in a sporting arena, if it's in your relationships. The more emotional intelligence you have built into yourself, the better you'll perform when it actually counts. Because anyone can, go through life when the markets are good and there's plenty of work coming in and there's nothing going on that's really forces us to deal with that type of high level pressure. So again, that's why we're such a big part of it. It's not just the business component, because if it was only about knowing the right marketing strategy or the right sales process or, having their content information, then we'll all be sorted.
And it's been our philosophy since day one. When we launched in 2008, it was having that blend of the two. It's going, well, we can hand you the business systems and the processes and here's the strategy. But then on the flip side, it really boils down to what's going on in between your two ears and how well in tune you are with that part of it. So I think it's important for us to preface to say, look, we've been suggesting strategies, and as many others have, no doubt, going, what are ways that you can think creatively in a time like this, because people start freaking out and, we don't want to overemphasize the importance of you being smart enough to be able to put some of these strategies in place. However, if somebody is blocked by their thoughts, their feelings, their emotions, then it's going to be challenging to think creatively. It's going to be challenging to put some of this stuff in place. So, mate, let's discuss that a bit. Let's discuss this emotional component, because it definitely popped up as soon as we arrived on Wednesday night. It was one of the things that was said here. So, over to you.
The first thing we need to look at is when we're talking to somebody is what kind of language are they using? So how are they describing this current situation, and how are they talking about potentially the future? So why would you look at that? Well, because the way someone talks or speaks about anything, be it business, be it money, be it relationships, when they do talk, they're expressing their internal beliefs. So what's going on inside of them, and so that's what gets presented. So if you've done a fair bit of work on yourself, or you have cleared away, your own emotional baggage, and it's a continual process, and you work on your mindset, then you hear things a little bit differently when people speak. So I always look for, is someone speaking in a way where they're feeling at peace, or they're calm, they're being positive, or they're being negative? Are they talking at a fear base? And that's the first thing we looked at. So we heard things such as, in this shit time. So we're going, okay, well, where's everyone at? And the first thing that I would recommend, if you're listening to this, is to ask yourself the question: what's my honest, response to what's going on at the moment? And if it's something like, oh, well, it's a shit time, it's a scary time, all the rest of it, then that would be the first thing that I would address. Because at this point, if that becomes our mantra, if that becomes a thing that we're going to keep saying, then chances are that's going to pan out that way. It's going to become your reality, because you block then any opportunity to see the opportunities that are out there. So that also creates an emotional response. So if I'm sitting here saying, oh, Brad, this is the worst thing that's ever happened, my business is going to go under, it's a shit time, or all that, while some of that stuff could be true, like it's not helpful. And it's going to make you weak in the moment. It's going to take away all your strength to come up with any kind of creativity and to get through this part. So the first thing is to look at our language and suspend that. So, find a different way to articulate it. Because if you are saying it's shit, it's scary, all that stuff, well, that's going to create the emotion in your body. And it's going to block off your subconscious. So you're telling your subconscious that's what it is. And so your subconscious will show you more evidence why it's crap. You'll be attracted to all the negative publicity out there, the media. You'll be consumed by it, which then leaves very little room for saying, well, hang on.
Where's the solution?
Where's the solution in all this?
Yeah, how am I going to solve it? And as soon as that occurs, that creativity becomes incredibly blocked, and it becomes very challenging then to find the solution. And all you'll look for is more of what you're attracting, and then something will roll in. You'll have a client that'll say to you, hey, I am physically going to put myself in isolation, and you can't really find the solution. You're going, okay, there's someone there, boom, all right, and there's another one, boom. And so everywhere I turn, I'm going to see more of it.
Correct, yeah. So when the group arrived here at the Wednesday night, and we were just checking in, and that's the first thing. Check in with yourself. See how am I actually doing? How am I feeling? Yeah, what's going on for me? Am I feeling fearful? And there's nothing wrong with all that stuff. Again, it's about processing that, or finding someone who can help you process that, so then you can get past it and get back to a place of peace. And then you can start to make decisions based on, okay, what do I actually want to do? If you're only making all your decisions based on fear, then it's going to be counterproductive. Now, I spoke to my financial advisor the other day. He called me yesterday, and because he's had everyone freaking out.
Yes.
Wanting to then pull their money out of shares and put it in cash. And he goes, it's the worst thing ever. So he spent the most of his time not so much talking about the opportunities in the market. Yeah, there are plenty.
Yes.
If we're talking about the financial side of things and investing, he's dealing with helping people to stop panicking and making decisions that they're going to regret. So that's the first key. Then he goes, once I can get them past, the freak out stage. Yes. Because people are watching their stocks and shares plummet at this point.
Super funds, all the rest of it.
Yeah, he said, then I can start to explain to them that there are opportunities in this and some strategies, but you can't just jump to the strategies if you're still in freak out mode.
Sure, yeah.
So he said to me, I said, I hadn't even thought about it. And he laughed. And this is an example of, I just see it as there's opportunity. There's going to be opportunities. I've got the right people in place.
Yes.
I've got him in place as my mentor and coach in dealing with my financial strategies. So I was very confident about it.
And even back to the super side of things, I even heard them speaking the other day about the ability for Australians to potentially access their super if they're in a time of need, or they need to access more funds. And there's been a lot of talks about the banks, with mortgages and potentially, having some period in time where people could pay less or delay payments and that sort of stuff. So if we go to super, for example, you go, okay, there's money in super or shares. You've had this drop, maybe 20, 30%, and then you're going to potentially withdraw money out of an account that's down. It just doesn't make economic sense at all from the perspective of, well, you're taking it out at a time when it is incredibly low. And so when that does pop back up, of course, that money's not going to be there, and you're going to have less than what you had originally.
Yeah. So, people are panic buying,
yes.
let alone now talk about their shares and their financial future or business. So, very important. Like, again, there's a lot of people out there aiming to provide solutions, how to take your business online. And in my opinion, that's all pretty obvious kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
And you've got to have that part in place. What a lot of people aren't talking about is having the right mental and emotional support. So there's a lot of people, and I'm not talking badly of this, because it's what most people do, and that's why we're different, because we're talking about the bit that no one is addressing, because a lot of people don't have the skill set to do it. And that is, let's talk about actually how you're feeling.
Yes.
Do you have the right support, or are you getting around the fearmongers? What are you actually surrounding yourself with right now? And the crew that came here, most of them came here really apprehensive, nervous, fearful.
Yep, uncertain about what potentially lies ahead.
Uncertain. And what we did first, we addressed all that. We addressed all their emotional experience. We run them through our process, which, I've been involved in the emotional intelligence arena for the last 17 years. So we're able to get them back to a place where they actually, were calm, at peace, think more clearly, open up their ability to come up with problem solving solutions. But we did that bit first. So number one is to have the right support.
Yes.
People that actually know how to guide you through this time, and get back to a place of allowing yourself to be calm and peace. Because worrying about the future and worry about tomorrow is just counterproductive. It doesn't help you right now. And so we did that whole process first.
Yes.
And then we started to go into strategy. So we spent a whole good day, breaking down all these mental, emotional barriers of what was going on, draining all the fear pools and anger pool, all the stuff that was going on inside of them. To then it opened up a whole new range of possibilities for everyone, leaving extremely motivated, positive. The language talked. We could see their energy talk.
Well, what was coming out was the strategies and the solutions, and it was just flowing out of them at that point in time. So. And once again, you have to think about on a personal level, what is it that you're tuning into? So if we see people panic buying and people fighting over toilet rolls and all the rest of it, look, this stuff is a reality. It's there. But if you're tuning into it, then it may be bringing up some anger, some resentment, some frustration, and looking at this, quote unquote human condition that certain people are falling into. And once again, going, okay, am I going to choose to buy into it, or am I just going to go, that's just a thing that some people are doing at this point in time, and it doesn't need to affect me. I mean, I've not met one person that I know that has been doing some panic buying, not to my knowledge anyway. And everyone I've pretty much spoken to has kind of, rolled their eyes at it and gone, I can't believe that this is occurring. But once again, if you're going to enable yourself to be, I guess, or enable a situation like that, empower a situation like that to be able to set you off and bring out some anger, some frustration and so forth, it's definitely worthwhile just checking in on that and going, okay, how am I really feeling about it? Well, yeah, I'm feeling quite angry about it. Because then once we address it and once we express it, the healing's in the expression of the emotion. And so from there, I can do something about it.
Yeah, it's so critical, and I just think in these times you got to have. It's just our message today is you got to have a really good support network. It does really show you that if you're business at the best of time is challenging, it can be lonely, all these things, and if you have just been cruising along because everything's right, it does expose that. It does expose that you got to be prepared, but now's not the time to be doing it in terms of like panic and rushing around. Like with your business, having the right structure in place, having the right people around you, all that stuff that you don't always think about doing because there's nothing actually wrong. That's the problem with a lot of this, and that's what this is exposed. So if your business can only survive like week by week, or you only live week by week,
yes,
there's a bit of an issue in that.
Absolutely, 100%, and no greater time than the current to be able to focus on a future strategy for your business as well. So one of the techniques and one of the methods that we teach our clientele is about making sure that, number one, they have a profit account. Number two, making sure they have what's called a vault account. And so obviously the profit account relates to making sure that every business needs to be profitable. This is separate to you getting paid as a director of your own company. The idea of the profit account is to be able to provide for your future, or to be able to provide for future growth of the business, or to invest in something. That's what business is about, and ultimately a business needs to be profitable. The other one being the vault account, which is going, a small portion of funds would get farmed into a vault account, meaning it's pretty much like the rainy day fund. It's the time if effectively the shit hits the fan, and I'm going to be searching for some sort of some sort of capital in the business. Now, that could occur at any point in time, but really the idea of the vault is you do lock it away. You don't touch it. It's not the thing that I tap into, because if I'm a bit short on a monthly basis, no, you treat the vault like it does not exist, and it only comes out if and when there is an occasion or a time when I may need to access it.
So if you're tuning in or you're watching this this episode, I'm assuming you're someone who has the right mindset, the mindset that you want to, be better. You want to thrive. You want to rise up during this time. And my personal belief is that it is in these times that if you go, right, I'm going to act now. I'm not going to delay. I'm not going to wait. One of your favourite sayings is, your ducks are never going to line up. Now is the time to really shine, because that then will carry you through for the rest of your life. So you go, well, hey, anyone can start a business up when everything's going well, or anybody can just rise up when there's no real pressure.
Yes.
However, what I saw in myself was during that time where everyone else was maybe panicking or crumbling, I was able to remain calm, stay focused, deal with my emotions. Don't be reactive, be proactive. I was able to find the opportunities in it. And everything from the Great Depression, where there was multi-billionaires being born out of that era, out of all those eras, it goes, I was able to do that. That is what's really going to be with you for the rest of your life.
Yes.
But if every time the shit hits the fan, you crumble and you give up, or you pack your bags and go, then that's also going to be with you for the rest of your life. So there is a really key opportunity beyond what's the new strategy going online. It's really who you become in this process that it's going to be worth way more for you moving forward.
Yes, great. Now, big fella, let's suggest that we've got someone listening to this and they're going, look, I really resonate with what you guys are saying. It all makes sense to me, but I'm honestly just, I'm feeling this blockage. I'm definitely feeling the fear. The reality is I've had a few clients put their training on hold and so forth. What are a couple of simple steps people could do just to at least start this process?
In terms of the emotional component?
Yeah. So if we were to break down a couple of steps and go, okay, step number one, what could they do?
Yeah, the first step that you'd just is doing exactly that. So step one would be, if you don't have someone in person, like an expert to be able to help you through this, is that I would just be writing down the way I'm feeling about this current situation is, and then you would write it down. And the process that I really like to do is it's like this. So it's like an interview process, but you're doing it with yourself. So there'd be Brad's asking me the question, I'm responding. Brad might ask me another question and I'm going to respond. Well, you do that with yourself. So you've got the blank bit of paper.
Yep.
You draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, you're asking the question. So the way you're the way I'm currently feeling about this is, because what we're doing is we're wanting to speak to the subconscious or the unconscious part of the brain. And then you need to answer honestly. So the way I'm feeling about this is scared, frightened, fearful, Then you'd go back and, using your intuition, just go, the reason you're feeling that way is, and then it might be, well, I'm not going to pay the bills. I'm going to go, I'm not going to be able to pay the mortgage. I'm going to lose the house. And then we can get into some awfulizing, as I call it, because none of that stuff's actually happened yet. But it's given you a chance to express. So Brad said it earlier, the feeling is in the expression of the feeling. So the healing comes from the expression. So then you would keep going. So then you might intuitively ask another question. Okay, so if that happened, what would you feel like doing? And so it's hard for me to go beyond this and give you like a role play example, but you've got to use your intuition by asking the next question. And the reason we do it this way is because it stops you getting emotionally attached to what's going on. It's called detachment. So by me asking my subconscious or unconscious brain the question, it allows me to not get, like a car in a caravan with a tow bar and get hooked and then get taken away, and then I'm no good to myself. So you keep asking the questions until then you start to get to some feeling of change. So you have a shift. You start to feel your emotion shifts, because as you go through, as you ask the question, you might be going, well, I am feeling a bit scared. I am feeling a bit anxious. I am feeling a bit angry.
And it's okay to feel these feelings, these emotions, because people can often suggest that, all right, sadness, fear, anger, they kind of almost have a bit of a negative connotation. Well, it's not negative. It's not positive. It just is. It's a feeling. It's an emotion, and they occur, and they're very natural for everyone to have. So for those of you who are, also in the fitness industry, and I can generalize here in saying, I guess we're a fairly positive bunch of individuals. And so it's almost like, well, I'll put up the happy face and I'll give this show of strength and determination and so forth. But really, on the inside, what have I got? I got fear, I've got anxiety, and so forth, and that stuff's popping up. So they're very real, and they're not neither good nor bad. It just is.
Yes. And so you keep going through that process until what you're actually looking for is a shift in the way you feel. So now you start to feel a bit lighter, a bit more relaxed. You've allowed yourself to express it, get it out, feel it. Hey, if you start to have a moment where you're feeling sadness and you cry, that's all good. Like Brad said, it's very positive. You want to get it out of your body, because the more we drain the fear pools, the anger pools, the sadness pools, the more it leaves room for joy, peace, happiness, being courageous, all those things. But as long as our fear pool is full, it leaves very room to be courageous or happy or at peace or creative. So we're going to draw. So it's just a method for you to be able to process this stuff at the time.
Yep.
And then predominantly what you'd want to do, like if I was working with Brad, is I'd be asking then once I felt like we got it all out and we're starting to look for now some solutions.
Yes.
So it's going, okay, so now that you've had a chance to get that out, feel a bit lighter, I'm starting to feel better, you felt a shift, then it can be, okay, so now what do you feel could be some strategies in this process? What could you do? Because once you get out of that fear, you'll have the ability to think clear and have more creativity and be able to tap into, to your full potential.
Yeah, so powerful. And I guess our message to everybody is to go, okay, cool. If you're going through a situation, you're spending some time figuring out, all right, how am I going to approach things slightly differently? What am I going to do? Well, just stop and really do check in on with yourself and say, how am I genuinely feeling about this? And therefore, it puts you in the driver's seat to be able to, determine what's going on, number one. Number two, what do I want to do about it? Do I want to keep hanging on to this? Do I want to allow this thing to keep blocking me? Or are there some solutions to move past it and push past it? I know for the last 3 days down here on the Gold Coast, we've been delving into it very deeply, and just what we see is profound change in people's psychology, profound change in terms of their creativity. They're setting their goals, their targets, going through everything because they're able to break through the different emotional layers, be able to deal with it, process it, and then be able to open themselves up to what the future holds.
And it happens quickly. So how we feel can be a choice as well. So again, some of the language that will help for those who are listening to this is be very mindful of the way you're speaking. So you go, well, hang on, I've been choosing to feel this way about this situation.
Yeah, love it.
So then I can also choose to feel confident or courageous. And I like to ask myself when I've got a time where I'm feeling a bit frightened or scared or uncertain or whatever it may be, I go, okay, so that's been a choice. I've been choosing to feel that. I'm going to allow myself to feel it fully, as we just explained. Then the real question is, well, what would I rather choose? Because I think for a lot of us, we don't have the education and emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, going to school. Yep, logically, but that doesn't always work, and it doesn't work in these situations. So your emotional intelligence, the ability to then say, okay, well, how would I rather choose to feel in this situation? What do I need to give myself more of? Is it more patience? Is it more love? Is it more understanding? Is it more courage? So I need to just give myself a bit more courage in this time. And all that stuff is going to help to change the way you feel emotionally inside. However, if I am walking around saying how doom and gloom it is, I'll tell you what, your reality is going to be also mapped out for you.
Yes, agreed. I think the observation we have has been that our Trainer HQ community, we've just watched this amazing group of individuals bond together, share, comment on each other with their experiences and so forth. So that's the beauty of surrounding yourself with like-minded individuals that all want to move forward, move in the right direction, help each other, support each other, and that's what the community is all about.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So if you are there, a lot of this stuff, because we don't get trained, we don't get taught it unless you've been fortunate enough to have parents who were educated in this stuff and knew how to deliver those lessons on emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And you are struggling. It is worth seeking out some kind of expert, get some help, because even the process that I explained then, you need to allow yourself just to trust in what you're doing in the process. You don't need to know and understand it fully. Keep out of your head so much and just allow yourself to connect up with your heart and your intuition. And, we've all got that ability, but we just dull it down. So, however, then if you feel like you're getting stuck or with it, don't sit there and just accept that, find help, ask for help. And that's what's happened over this period of time. Over the last few days, the guys have all had a chance to have support, have people that actually know how to help work through these situations, the process to work through it. However, they did the work, so we guide them. We know how to take someone through the process to get them a breakthrough, but they've got to do the work, meaning that you need to firstly ask for help.
Yes.
So if you are struggling, ask for help. Don't accept the situation as it is unless you want to stay stuck, unless you want to see the negative in all this.
And once again, that becomes a choice.
It's a choice.
Completely your choice.
So we really encourage you, if you're watching this and you need help, then if it's us or you're reaching out to somebody else, just make sure you get the right support and help during this time. It is really important not to be alone and just try to tough it out.
Absolutely, mate. Great advice, and been watching you in action for the last couple of days with the group that we've had here, and it's been incredible to watch all this unfold in terms of the emotional intelligence training. So please, I encourage anyone, if you've got any interest in this at all, just sing out to us, because we can definitely point you, guide you in the right direction. That's for sure.
All right.
All right, we're going to be signing off. We want to say thank you very much for joining us on another Ignite Your Success podcast. Thank you.
It's just too much now. It's all right.
Bye-bye, gang.
Bye-bye.